We have an update on the condition of former Bills wide receiver Mike Williams. Those close to the Buffalo native tell News 4 they're asking for continued prayers tonight as he fights for his life in a Tampa hospital. The 36-year-old was on life support for the last couple of days after suffering complications from a workplace accident. Sources say he was taken off a ventilator yesterday and remains responsive.
It's Jay Coffee back with some breaking news and some very good news, man. This is a crazy situation, as I reported on the other day. Media outlets circulated reports of a Mike Williams, former NFL wide receiver for the Bills, Buccaneers, death. But it was false. He was alive. They even talked to his father, who was, as Williams is living in Florida. After football, he lives in Florida. And he had an accident on a construction site, which there's more to that story, as well as it seems as more details are coming out. His loved ones are asking for prayers, prayer warriors, they said they need from Mike, that this guy went hard at everything he did and he's still fighting and still alive. And, back when it happened, his dad said, I got these reports that my son lost consciousness and never woke back up. But then his girl said when they came and saw him at the hospital, he opened his eyes and, seemed to be coherent. But, they were saying, hey, we got to take him off life support and we're going to see what happens when we do that. And I'm hearing all this and saying, man, this is crazy. They reported that he passed away, but he's opening his eyes and, is coherent. Let's say some prayers for Mike Williams. And now the good news comes through that his, friend brought in a highlight video and played it for him. And he smiled. He's responsive. He's still alive. And that's amazing. God is good. And as I stated originally, it was hitting the news that he was working on a construction site, got rushed to the hospital as he was hit in the head in an accident on the job. A steel beam hit him in the head, but it seems that was only kind of partially true, as originally that happened on August 21st, where he was hit in the head by the beam and it didn't seem life-threatening. He was okay, but on September 1st, the wound became infected, and then that's when all this happened, that he lost consciousness and his lungs had filled up with fluids, and the doctors were able to clear his lungs and he was able to breathe and everything, but was indeed put on life support. So what a crazy set of circumstances for this to be put out all false, that he was rushed. You know what I mean? It's a big difference. You got an infection 10 days later or so from a wound on your head than being rushed to the hospital after your head is hit by a steel beam. It's two totally different things, as an infection just made you really sick versus massive head trauma. But regardless, it's just good to hear that Mike Williams is still fighting, still alive. Again, loved ones are asking for prayers. I'm definitely saying a prayer. This is great to hear. This guy's 36 years old, so young. You know what I mean? And God is good. He's still fighting, still alive. And as he, still fights and continues to be responsive and go hard at keeping on, once again, as his loved one said, he went hard at everything he ever did in life. He obviously was from Buffalo, New York. That was what made it such big news when, after his rookie contract was up with the Buccaneers and he signed with the Bills, and it was a pretty amazing story for it to come full circle and him to be playing with his hometown team. Although Doug Marrone, who was his coach in college, and I don't know this, but it seemed like they kind of bumped heads in college, and it seemed like maybe that's what happened in the NFL as well, as he was deactivated a lot of games. It never made sense, and that was the year the Bills went 9-7 with Kyle Orton playing the bulk of the season as a starter after Manuel, I think, started out 2-2. Kyle Orton took over. And Williams was a guy, we were fighting for a playoff spot right up to the end of the season. And Mike Williams being deactivated just never made much sense to me. But, a guy that he played high school, not just football against, but he was also a basketball player as well. A guy that he played against was saying how He was one of the greatest athletes ever in the history of Buffalo sports. As the guy said the following, he said, Mike is the greatest athlete in Buffalo history. This guy's name was Dominic Cook. He played AAU basketball with Mike Williams, and he matched up against him when UB visited Syracuse in 2017. And he also went on to say, I've said that to him, and I'll continue to say it to this day. He could literally do it all. So much raw talent, he didn't even have to train. It was just natural. My biggest wish is to have seen him really play basketball at Syracuse. There will never be another like Mike Williams from this area. So some pretty big words from a guy who played up against him. So once again, hit the comments, say some prayers for Mike Williams. Great news. And I just still can't believe how the false reports of his death got put out there. I even after it had been corrected in the media, I seen still a lot of Bills pages and just other NFL pages continuing to say R.I.P. Mike Williams, R.I.P. Caveman Mike, and I'm like, yo, his girl said he opened his eyes and looked at his child and her. You know, they're gonna like it was sounding positive to me, and then come to find out a lot of things were falsely reported. So God is good. Jump in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe is coffee. Talking music, news, sports, and more. I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.